Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, baby. I am your host, Gaff. We do this thing here every Friday, every Sunday, sometimes on Saturdays. You are watching the One More Round Fights live chat coming to you live from Sunday, June 1st, 2025. And we got a lot to talk about. We have plenty to talk about. You thought there was only UFC and a boxing card this weekend? You thought that was the only thing that happened? No. Not here. Not motherfucking here. This is where we get to it before everybody else. Everybody waking up on Sundays, playing with their kids, eating breakfast, gooning, whatever the fuck they do on Sundays. No, you're here with me, riding the MMA wave, getting to the bottom of everything that happened this past weekend and everything that will happen next weekend. Yes, you can see what shirt I'm wearing. You know what we riding with this week. Long Island, baby. Dvalishvili, baby. Ray Longo, MMA, baby. Aljamain Sterling, baby. Dvalishvili, baby. Matt Serra, Ray Longo. Oh, vibes are up this week, y'all. Vibes are all the way up. Again, if you're new to the channel, you've just become a fan, don't forget to like and subscribe. Scan the QR codes below. Main card minute on your left. That is where we do the full card watch alongs for some UFC, some main card watch alongs for PFL, various other promotions. Yeah, main card minute. We also give you, minute breakdowns, 10-minute breakdowns, fight parlays. We give you a lot of stuff over there. You should go check out the main card minute. Also, if you're new here, haven't been here before, haven't seen my pretty face before, welcome to One More Round Fights. This is where we do simulations for the UFC fights on Fridays, where we sometimes do watch alongs for PFL or one championship cards on Saturdays, the occasional UFC card. And on Sundays, we break down the weekend in its entirety. Okay, so scan those QR codes below. We also give out parlays. Don't forget to follow the social. Don't forget to follow the social. One More Round Fights on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. One More Round Fights. It's only One More Round F8 on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, because Elon gives us a character limit. Fuck you, Elon. Fuck you, dickhead. Anyways, yeah, One More Round Fights, baby. One More Round Fights. We if you check the channel recently, you'll see that there's 2 green checks on the channel. That's because we cashed 2 parlays this past weekend. We cashed the One More Round CP units parlay, and we cashed the One More Round official parlay. So you're welcome if you tailed. We'll get to all that in this week's wins later in the show. But we got a whole lot of shit to get to. You feel me? Shout out to our sponsor, W.GG's. Promo code One More Round for 10% off. That is One More Round for 10% off. And don't forget to send your wins in. If you got any wins off this channel, I want to see how much you made. I want to see the good I'm doing to the world. So please send your wins into One More Round Fights at gmail.com. That is One More Round Fights at gmail.com. And don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to comment. All right. Without further ado, let's get into this show, shall we? Let's get into this show, shall we? Starting off first, UFC Vegas 107 was supposed to be headlined by Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber at flyweight, 125 pounds in the UFC. This was supposed to be a fight between the number 4 and the number 5 in the division. Erin Blanchfield being the number 4, Maycee Barber being the number 5. Now, a couple things should be noted before we even talk about this fight. First is that Maycee Barber was coming off of a 14-month layoff. That's right. Maycee Barber's last fight was not recently. Maycee Barber's last fight, if we're getting really into the weeds, if we're really trying to figure out exactly what happened, where the roads could have led to, if we're trying to get into that, Maycee Barber's last fight was March 9th of 2024 against Caitlin Sermonara, also known as Caitlin Jukagian, another Long Island native. Shout out to her from Amityville. But that was Maycee Barber's last fight. Now, for most people, you UFC fighters 30 and above, you'd be like, oh, that's okay. A year layoff. Maybe you had some injuries to deal with. But Maycee Barber's 27. I remember being 27. I'm sure most of you remember being 27. And I could run through a brick wall at 27, wake up the next morning, go drinking with my buddies at 11 a.m. Okay. So 27, you feel pretty good at 27. Not going to lie. You feel pretty goddamn good at 27. 25, even better, but 27, still freaking solid. Okay. So Maycee Barber's only 27. She hasn't fought in over a year. Comes into this weekend saying all the right things, but then ends up missing weight by a half pound. She was supposed to make the 126-pound limit. She only makes 126 and a half, calls it quits at the 126 and a half. Another little red flag there, because usually when a fighter misses by a small amount, that means they had a really tough time making that weight. Really tough time. Okay. 0.25, half pound, they had a tough time. They're like, I'm not even going to bother making that cut. Take my money. That says a lot already. And you also have to factor in that 126 pounds is not a lot of weight. Not a lot of weight in relation to the rest of your body. So cutting weight's a little harder for those 125ers, 115ers, 135ers, 145ers, no matter what weight class. It's easier to take 20 pounds off a 220-pound person than to take 20 pounds off a 150-pound person to get them down to 135. Okay? So let's keep that as a factor. Now, before I get into the other things that I want to talk about, let's talk about what ensued on Saturday night. Now, Maycee Barber is the B side, Erin Blanchfield is the A side, which means in the sequence of walkouts, Maycee Barber would go first. Maycee Barber walks out first, B side walks out. They play the promo, B side walks out. They maybe play another promo, short package, A side walks out, tail of the tape. Referee does the talking, blah, blah, blah. That's the normal order of operations, right? They played the promo. Then we're set to have Maycee Barber walk out, and the broadcast team tells us that she's not ready. Red flag. More red flags. Now, I say this red flag coming off the heels of that all week. Erin Blanchfield was saying that Maycee Barber's not going to make it to the fight. She's saying all week, Maycee Barber's not going to fight. She's going to quit. She's not going to make it to this. She said she wasn't even going to make it to the scales, but she made it to the scales. She said she wasn't going to make it to the fight. She might have spoke that one into existence, because they're about to walk her out. Broadcast team says, "Oh no, something's wrong. She's not able to walk out. We got to hold her up. We're gonna go to commercial break, and we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna come back." They come back for the commercial break and say that Maycee Barber is unfit to continue. She's medically uncleared to fight. They don't tell us exactly why at the time. But later on, when they continue to hammer this on the head, and Cormier's giving all his faces in the background, and everybody's confused because we were supposed to get one more fight. This was already supposed to be a 12-fight card. Now it's a 10-fight card, and now it's possibly going to be a 9, and it ends up being a 9, with Gamrot and Klein being the main event. Shout out to Ludovic Klein getting his first main event of his career. But, yeah. So Maycee Barber doesn't make the walk, and she's the first to walk. So they have to tell Erin Blanchfield, her opponent, that your opponent is medically unfit, uncleared to fight, that you're not going to fight tonight. Which sucks for Erin Blanchfield, because number one, she's number 4. She wants to solidify her spot in the division. She's only coming off one win. She lost to Manon Fiorot before that. So she really wanted this fight, and this was a fight she could definitely win, maybe possibly get a finish in. So that sucks. Not only are you not fighting, you're probably only getting your show money. You should get your win money as well, or your show money, but you're probably only getting, half. So that sucks. Somebody you probably wanted to shut up isn't fighting anymore. You called this, but it's kind of bittersweet. It's all a bunch of things for Erin Blanchfield. So I feel bad for Erin Blanchfield. Now, for Maycee Barber. The broadcast and other various outlets have said that the reason she was unfit to fight may have been to some seizures just before the walkout. Now, there's a number of things these seizures could have been from. These seizures could have been from the many lights in the very small space that the apex is, flashing all around, doing various movements, loud music playing, probably very disorienting for someone that's just cut weight and had a very bad weight cut. Okay. Now that could have been the initial, that could have been the Kickstarter of everything that happened. But there's a couple things that you should know about women. There's a couple things you should know about hormones, and there's a couple things you should know about weight cutting before we start shitting on Maycee Barber or anything of the sort. Number one, rapid weight cutting can increase the risk of seizures through various ways. Okay. Dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, hypoglycemia. This is not me saying that weight cutting is bad, but bad weight cut management is bad. And weight cutting is very extreme. And it's not just extreme for the guys, it's extreme for the girls as well. Because if you also know that women have an increased risk of seizures because of their menstrual cycles, well, that makes you think a little differently about weight cutting and when women should take fights in relation to that cycle. Okay, so a lot of times when we have a missing weight or certain things, it could just be a bad time to book that fight. And you don't know if that, when you booked that fight 6 months ago, how your body's going to, what time in your body's going to be on at that time. So another factor added. So massive lights, dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, hypoglycemia, menstrual cycle could have been happening. I don't know what the actual reason is, but I'm just presenting factors to you as to why this could have happened. Also, as you know, with menstrual cycles, there's fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone. When those fluctuations happen, it can also lead to seizures. Now you're starting to see how the weight cut all the way on Fridays, probably started on Thursday or Wednesday, could have now led to the seizures that happened just before her walkout on Saturday night. And last but not least, hormonal imbalances. Hormonal imbalances are another factor that can lead to seizures. Now you add that, the lights, the bad weight cut, the dehydration, the electrolyte imbalances, possible hypoglycemia, the menstrual cycle possibly going on, fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone, hormonal imbalances. We got almost 10 factors already that were keeping Maycee Barber out of this fight. So I'm not just saying that weight cutting is dangerous. I'm not saying that weight cutting should be stopped. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that if you're choosing to take a fight and you're choosing to weight cut and you're choosing to invite all these health factors, your immune system's down. Another thing, just so many things that happen when you cut weight and you put your body through that much of a water deficit. There's too many factors that can happen that can take you out of the fight. And especially for fighters of low weight, and especially for fighters that have to deal with hormone changes constantly. You really have to be careful when you choose and pick your fights. So shout out to Maycee Barber. I hope everything's going well. Shout out to her family. Shout out to her team. I hope she comes back much stronger from this because, yet again, she's only 27 years of age. She's a very young fighter. Very young fighter. And a fighter with a lot of promise, mind you. She was on a 6-fight win streak. 1, 2, 3, 6-fight win streak. Shout out to Erin Blanchfield. Got a feel for her. Was ready to fight that night. Was feeling good. Was saying all the right things that week. And the rug got pulled out right before the main event. So our co-main event became our main event. Mateusz Gamrot defeated Ludovic Klein by unanimous decision. And our supposed main event between Erin Blanchfield and Maycee Barber was canceled. And that's what happened on Saturday night. Who knows what's next for Erin Blanchfield? Who knows what's next for Maycee Barber? But you know me, baby. You know me, baby. I always got plans. I always got plans for him. Now, here we go. Erin Blanchfield deserves something nice after this, right? She's gotten one of these before. Didn't work out for her. Different style of fighter this time. Different person in the number one contender spot. And it's not her. Let's give her the B-side chance. Let's give Erin Blanchfield a chance in a number one contender fight against Natalia Silva to see who will face Valentina Shevchenko next. That's what I want to see. And if we can't give her Natalia Silva, if we want to keep Valentina busy and march Natalia in there, then let's give her who Natalia just beat, Alexa Grasso. So all I want to see against Erin Blanchfield is Natalia Silva next. And if we can't get that, Alexa Grasso, but she needs one more fight before she can say that she wants to fight against Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. And for Maycee Barber, obviously a little more time off to figure out these weight cut issues, possibly other underlying issues. We've seen many fighters have weight cuts and other ailments cut their careers short. We were just talking about Rafael Lovato Jr. recently. Someone we'll talk about later in the show, Ramiz Brahimaj had issues earlier in his career. Yeah. So lots of things could take a contender out for good. But Maycee Barber, I see Jasmine Jasudavicius or Chasey Cortez. You're not going to get anybody above you after this. You're going to get somebody 15 to 8, 15 to 10. So I see Jasmine Jasudavicius or Chasey Cortez for Maycee Barber. But hopefully Maycee Barber's career continues. Something like this could, it's career altering. It can be. Something like this can be career altering. So I wish nothing but the best for Erin Blanchfield and Maycee Barber and everybody that supports them. And we'll see what happens next for both ladies. See who's in the comments. Lazy, top of the morning. Top of the morning, Lazy. Lazy says she's getting show and win, fortunately, thankfully. Wow, that could have been bad, Because I know that Chaz Skelly fight when he was waiting in the octagon and his opponent, I feel like it was Jermall Emmers. I think it was Jermall Emmers. His opponent backed out last second. He's like, what? What the hell? They gave him a show and win that night. I remember that. They even interviewed him. It was like our first Chaz Skelly interview ever because he was like not winning and nobody had a reason to talk to him until then. So shout out to Chaz Skelly. That night we got a lot of his personality and we were happy to see that. John Ray says, I still can't believe Fake Titties got a fight canceled. Hey, I didn't want to put that. John Ray, there was the one thing I left out. I didn't want to jump to conclusions on that one. So I left that piece out purposefully. Purposefully, I did leave that little tidbit out. And yes, I chose that choice of words carefully. But yeah, those could have been a factor as well. I didn't want to draw the obvious attention to that because they were already making light of her body and all this other stuff before the fight or this week. People were talking about cake and all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about the fights. But anyways, yeah. Shout out to them. Moving on. We had a main event. We did. Our co-main event became our main event. And Mateusz Gamrot, our guy, American Top Team, got his second main event in the UFC. And Ludovic Klein got his first main event in the UFC. If you don't know, Saryukian versus Gamrot was Gamrot's first main event, and he lost that one. Sorry, he won. My apologies. He won that one by unanimous decision. And he has now won his second main event by unanimous decision because Mateusz Gamrot defeats Ludovic Klein 30-27 across the board. Now, there's a few things we could say about this fight. First thing is we got the typical Mateusz Gamrot fight. Turn that gas tank up to 12 right away like he was Marab Dvalishvili. Turned it up right away. Was revving to go. He was revving it up before the fight even started. You seen him outside the cage, amped up, fist bumping his team extra fucking hard for no reason. Walking in there, pacing. Walked in there, put it on him right away. Had a nice, heavy, quick shot right at the legs. Put him on his butt. Showed him what the fuck was going down early. Gamrot has a suffocating wrestling style because of his chain wrestling. But mind you, if this chain wrestling was not a part of Gamrot's game, he would have no efficient ground and pound. He would have no way to keep anybody on their back. So shout out to that chain wrestling from Gamrot because that's what kept Ludovic Klein guessing over and over again. It kept him on his back, kept him tired enough that he wanted to accept position for at least 30-second spurts, 45-second spurts, minute spurts, because Gamrot was just all over him. He used his gas tank as a weapon, and you could see it starting to wear on Gamrot in that third round. At the end of round 2, he was breathing pretty heavy, walking back to his stool because of the work that he had to continuously put on Klein to keep him in those positions. Gamrot's a fun fighter if you like to watch full fights, if that makes sense. If you like finishes, he's not your guy. No offense to him. But if you like finishes, he's not your guy. He's just not. And it doesn't matter to me. He's my guy. I'm a Marab fan. You know he's my guy. I like Gamrot. I just like dominant fighters. I like fighters that are good. That's what matters to me. I don't care if you won't finish him. Did you dominate him? Did you beat him the whole time? Did you not make me not question that you won the fight? That's good with me. That's cool with me, my boy. So shout out to Mateusz Gamrot. Shout out to Ludovic Klein for showing that he has power in those hands and that he could stick in there with some of the top guys in the division. Mateusz Gamrot can get a couple good fights after this. Now, he's not going to get an exciting fight. But someone else may get him to make themselves more exciting, if you know what I mean. And there's only 2 fighters in the division that are in that range of fighter that should go to Mateusz Gamrot after a win like that I feel feels right. Now, you don't need to give him anybody below 10 because Renato Moicano is his friend. They're never going to fight each other unless it's for a title. He's already fought Rafael Fiziev. Michael Chandler ain't getting a 5-fight bump up. Hey, maybe he will. Who knows? Grant Dawson, don't they train together as well? And you're not getting 15. They're not going to demote you to 15 after that. So here's the 2 guys I see for Mateusz Gamrot, which is coincidentally the only 2 guys left. Paddy Pimblett and Beneil Dariush. We need to test Paddy Pimblett with a grappler that could possibly keep him on his back. We've seen Jared Gordon do it to him. Can Mateusz Gamrot do it too? That's an interesting fight for me. And the other, give Benny a shot. Throw Benny a bone. Beneil Dariush has been out here taking tough fights, fighting the best of the best for the last 5 years. Throw him a bone. Give him Dariush. Give Dariush Gamrot. If you're not going to give Dariush somebody like a hooker, then give him a Gamrot. All right? So I like to see Pimblett, Gamrot, Dariush Gamrot, any iteration of the story. And for Ludovic Klein, he's like fringe 15 right now. That was his test to be like, can we get you into the top 15 after this? Right now, the answer is no. But there's 3 guys that I wouldn't mind seeing Ludovic Klein face. I know that he's top 15 able now. So maybe Joel Alvarez. depending on what happens with Joel Alvarez in his next fight. And the other two, Manuel Torres or Mateusz Rebecki. We're keeping it in the Mateusz range. Yeah, Manuel Torres, Mateusz Rebecki, Joel Alvarez. Those are good, all good options for Ludovic Klein. All good fighters that will stand in there and bang with him, baby. We're gonna get a fun fight. Any three of those fighters go hands to hands, feet to feet with Ludovic Klein. So, Sean Shelby, I'm coming for that job, motherfucker. Anyways, Lazy says he wants BSD in Paris. That ain't happening. Mateusz Gamrot wants BSD in Paris. I mean, BSD's 13. That would be a stupid fight for Gamrot. That's BSD's gonna take that. He's like, shit, I could almost jump into the top 5 again. Yeah, fuck it. Gamrot's boring. Let me see if I could take him out. You might be right. You might get a BSD fight. You might get Gamrot BSD. But I'm just saying, Paddy Pimblett's a good fight because of where Paddy's at and the way the division's going right now. We still got to see what happens with Max and Dustin. We got to see what happens with Hooker. I don't think they'd give you Gagey Pimblett. I would love to see that fight, but I don't think they give you that. And we got Charles and Ilya. Also, our current champ is vacated. There's a lot of things going up at the top, which makes the waters very murky for Paddy Pimblett, which would make a 7-8 fight just make sense right now. If anybody should get Benoit Saint-Denis, why do I feel like Moicano beat him? Didn't Moicano just beat him? He did, right? If not, I'd like that fight. Yeah, Moicano just beat him. So there's not a lot of fights down there, man. What are we gonna do? Moicano Chandler? That's probably this fight that makes the most sense to me. So yeah, probably BSD, Gamrot. But somebody's got to fight Paddy. And I don't feel like it's gonna be Beneil Dariush. Just saying. Let's go on to the UFC Vegas. You know what? No. We're not. Here's what we're going to do. There's somebody on this card that deserves a spotlight. Somebody on this card that got another monumental win in their career. A New York fighter, by the way. Yes. As I wear this Merab Dvalishvili shirt. A New York fighter by the name of Ramiz Brahimaj is my fighter's spotlight of the week, baby. And he had to be. There was no other person on this card that was fit for the fighter spotlight division more than our boy Ramiz Brahimaj here. Okay? Ramiz Brahimaj. Got himself another huge finish. Sorry, a huge finish. His last fight, knocking out Mickey Gall in the very first round, getting a performance of the night bonus, and now submitting Billy Ray Goff by guillotine choke in the very first round. Mind you, he was also the co-main event of the evening because Erin Blanchfield and Maycee Barber fell out at the last minute. So let's talk about our boy, Ramiz Brahimaj. Ramiz Brahimaj trains out of Fortis MMA since 2014. Dallas, Texas. New York boy out in Dallas, Texas. All right. Trains out of Bronx, New York as well. From Bronx, New York. Brahimaj started training MMA early. As we all get the itch for MMA, he got it too. He got it while he was 17, a junior in high school. He always loved fighting. He always loved the UFC. It always intrigued him. And won't you know it, our boy is the son of Kosovar Albanian parents. That's right. Albanian like our boy Action Bronson. That's right. Ramiz Brahimaj, 32 years of age, born November 17th, 1992. Only 32 years of age, in the prime of his career. He's 5'10". He's a welterweight with a 72-inch reach. 11-5, 1 KO, 10 submissions. 10 submissions for Ramiz Brahimaj. Okay? Now, I'm sick to my stomach about this because I always ride with Ramiz. Last time we rode with Ramiz as a big dog, made money. We didn't ride this time. And I'm pissed at myself for it. But it is what it is. The odds scared us. We didn't think we'd double up twice in a row. Sometimes you got to ride with your guys. And Ramiz, I'm riding, buddy. I'm riding with you from here on out. He aims to make a run at the top of the UFC welterweight division. And it looks like he has the tools to do so, because this man has fought adversity time and time again in his career. And it showed that he's starting to become the cream of his crop. Let's talk about his MMA debut real quick. He faced Richard Bailey and submitted him in a rear naked choke in the first round. Brahimaj also tapped out his next 3 opponents that include wins over Josh Sturgill and David Lopez. Now let's go ahead and look at his take a journey with me over to his wiki real quick, and let's take a look at his record. Abilene, Texas takes out Richard Bailey, rear naked choke at Genesis Combat Sports 1, October 25th of 2014, the first round. These are all first round finishes. David Lopez, Kimura, Extreme Knockout 34, January 28th of 2017. Andrew Sosa, rear naked choke, Extreme Knockout 36, June 10th of 2017. 55 seconds of round 1. Josh Sturgill, guillotine choke, Extreme Knockout 37, August 12th of 2017. 24 seconds into round 1. Theme here. Ben Simmons, LFA 28, submission, guillotine choke, December 8th of 2017. 46 seconds into round 1. And Bilal Williams, submission, rear naked choke, LFA 33, February 16th, 2018, 4 minutes and 10 seconds of round 1. All first round finishes. Ramiz Brahimaj. We should have seen this coming. Or at least just bet it. Threw a little money in. Then he faces the first setback of his career, where he takes on Evan Cutts at LFA 40 and loses a unanimous decision on May 25th of 2018. He comes back at LFA 47 on August 10th of 2018 and gets himself a second round submission guillotine choke against William Macario. Insert the second setback of his career. From here on out, he would alternate wins and losses, marking a few setbacks in his career. Okay? And then we'll get into some muddy waters in his career after that. But he takes on Justin Patterson at LFA 55 and loses his second fight of his career by unanimous decision. This was November 30th of 2018. He bounces back at LFA 62, taking on Carlos Martinez, wins the fight by submission arm triangle, March 22nd of 2019, in what? The very first round. And this was his last fight before the UFC. He thinks he's fight ready. He's ready. Okay? He thinks he's ready. He's making a name for himself, and now it's time to make the jump to the UFC. He gets booked against Miguel Baeza on Dana White's Contender Series. You're like, wait, I don't see that on his wiki. That's because the fight never happened. A tumor was found behind his left eye. in his preliminary testing for the bout, and he had to have surgery to remove it. Think about that. You're a young fighter just getting into the meat of your career. You just got past the bun. You're getting into the meat of your career, and they tell you have a tumor in your head. You can't fight. You have to have surgery to remove it. This could be career ending. But Ramiz Brahimaj doesn't let this end his career. He gets the surgery. He trains hard as hell. And he comes back. He was scheduled to face Takashi Sato on June 27th of 2020. UFC on ESPN, Santos versus Teixeira. The fight's scratched. Second setback for Ramiz Brahimaj. Possibly fourth if you're counting the 2 decision losses. Yeah. COVID-19. One of his cornermen tests positive for COVID-19. Another huge setback for Ramiz Brahimaj. Think about that. You had a tumor, got it removed. You're thinking you're coming back. Now your fucking cornerman gets COVID. You're like, what do I have to do to fight in the UFC? What do I have to do to fight in the UFC? And he finally makes his UFC debut against Max Payne Griffin. Tough UFC first fight. I know. November 7th, 2020. UFC on ESPN, Santos versus Teixeira. He loses the fight via knockout due to doctor stoppage. His ears split open in round 3. The guy can't catch a break. Ramiz Brahimaj, a tumor gets him out of the fight. COVID-19 gets him out of the fight. A split ear gets him out of another fight. And 3 setbacks, totally out of his control. I mean, how can you control how much your ear stays together in a fight? Like, come on. Doctor stoppage. But as we know, Ramiz Brahimaj fought through adversity and got to where he did on Saturday night because let's read off the rest of his career in the UFC. He beat Sasha Palatnikov, submission, rear naked choke in what? Round 1. Rear naked choke on UFC on ESPN Cannonier versus Gastelum, August 21st of 2021 in Las Vegas. Then loses to Court McGee in a unanimous decision, another theme of his career. January 15th, 2022, UFC on ESPN Kattar versus Shikadze in Las Vegas. Bounces back with a win over Michael Gilmore. Submission, rear naked choke in round what? 1. Submits Michael Gilmore. UFC Fight Night, Makhachev versus Green, February 26th, 2022 in Las Vegas. Then loses to Themba Gorimbo by, bitch, you guessed it, unanimous decision. UFC Fight Night, Barboza versus Murphy, May 18th, 2024 in Las Vegas. And then he gets the bounce back wins that we mentioned. UFC 309, knocks out Mickey Gall in round 1, November 16th, 2024, secures himself the first performance bonus of his career and his first in the UFC. $50K, baby, which leads him to Saturday night. Fast forwards, comes in at a plus 350 dog and a plus 650 to get the submission win against a very, very, very game opponent in Billy Ray Goff, who goofed because he was a heavy favorite to win. People thought he was going to knock him out, but our Albanian brother from another mother like Action Bronson gets the motherfucking job done. Gets the submission in round 1, putting Billy Ray Goff out cold submission. Shout out to Ramiz Brahimaj out of the Bronx, New York, baby. Shout out to Ramiz. Shout out to the welterweight division. Shout out to yet again another first round sub for our guy. Big New York energy coming into this week. And that is why Ramiz Brahimaj is my fighter spotlight of the week. Shout out to you, Ramiz. Shout out to you, my guy. Let's get into the rest of the UFC Vegas 107 results. Yes, sir. We already said the Blanchfield fight was canceled. Gamrot defeats Klein via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Brahimaj defeats Billy Ray Goff via submission, guillotine choke, round 1, 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Dustin Jacoby gets a nice TKO win over Bruno Lopez. Knocks him out with some punches, round 1, minute and 50 seconds. Just put him up against that fence, put his freaking Glory Kickboxing giant mitts on him, and put that boy out cold up against the fence. Had him dreaming about sheeps and fucking snacks and shit. It was crazy. He put him out good. Dustin Jacoby showed he still got hands, and he is a dangerous kickboxer in there. Ketlin Vieira defeats Maycee Chasson via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. You're welcome. I knew Ketlin Vieira was too experienced of an opponent, too good everywhere, and I knew she would win. I'm just sad I didn't put more money on her. It is what it is. Zachary Reese defeats Dusko Todorovic via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. Zachary Reese got the job done. He dropped that first round. Dusko made it a point to put him on his back and volume him up. He may have gassed himself out with a couple of submission attempts because Zachary Reese comes back in rounds 2 and 3, puts the same game plan on him, minus the takedowns, puts him up against the fence, uses a lot of anti-wrestling, gets away from him, wins the fight. On the prelims, Alan Nascimento defeats Jafel Fio via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. It was a fun fight, fun flyweight scrap. Jordan Leavitt defeats Kurt Hollabaugh via technical submission, anaconda choke, round 1, 1 minute and 39 seconds. Boy, was I wrong. Jordan Leavitt uses his monkey strength, takes down Kurt Hollabaugh early, jumps on a choke as fast as he can, and does not let go. Kurt Hollabaugh put to sleep. Straight to sleep. Yeah. Shout out to Leavitt. He's going to get a good fight next. Balaji Oki defeats Michael Aswell Jr. via unanimous decision. Probably one of the most back-and-forth fights of the night. Balaji Oki definitely had more power in his hands. Might have dropped round 1. Comes back, puts the volume on him, knowing that his opponent took this on short notice. Takes rounds 2 and 3, gets the win, 29-28 across the board. And Alice Ardelian defeats Ryosuke Dos Santos via unanimous decision, 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. I felt better about the 30-27. I feel like she won all 3 rounds, but hey, it is what it is. She needed the win. She was 9-7 before the fight. You can't go 9-8 and remain in the UFC. So luckily for her, she got the dubber, ends up being 10-7. Alice Ardelian should be holding on to her job and doing some good things in the UFC and on OF. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that's it for MMA. That's it for MMA. Let's get into some boxing. Shall we? Caleb Plant took on Jose Armando Resendiz this past Saturday. And boy, was he in for a fight. Because Jose Armando Resendiz was not taking no for an answer. This man came in there and said, hey, Caleb, you've been around the block a few times. I'm here to take everything you worked for, motherfucker. And he did. He put it on Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant bloodied, bruised, battered, breathing heavy, pushed up against the ropes, trying everything he can to just steal a split decision on the cards. But 2 of the 3 judges ended up giving to Jose Armando Resendiz. The judges' scorecards being 116-112, 113-115, 116-112. And I agree with the 116-112s. You might have had a little fishy stuff going on with that 113-115. I don't know whose scorecards those were, but investigate that, man. I'm just saying. Caleb Plant was getting smacked up. If we're going to be honest about it, Caleb Plant was getting smacked up. Again, boxing plans get ruined between the main and co-main. We saw this a few weeks ago with Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero and Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. They were probably hoping that they could set up that rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney with a win from both guys. That didn't happen. They were probably hoping that they could set up the Caleb Plant, Jermall Charlo fight after that slap heard around the world. I believe it was the Barclays Center. It might have been T-Mobile Arena. That shit ain't gonna happen. Caleb Plant loses the fight. The main event fighter loses the fight again. Boxing doesn't get what they want. And you'd think they do everything in their power to make it happen. I mean, not 113, 115. But yeah, Jose Armando Resendiz proves that he is ready to fight the best of the best. He has ascended to the top of the division. I can't wait to see what he has next. They probably got some mandatories and some bullshit set up for him. Hopefully, he could get himself a big fight, a big Charlo fight. But as we know, you can only hope. You can only hope. Caleb Plant kind of fumbling the bag. This gives me a couple ideas. But like, where is Caleb Plant at in his career now? Because he wasn't looking good in the fight against Trevor McCumbee until he was. He wasn't looking good in the David Benavidez fight. But he stood in there for all 12 rounds. And he wasn't looking good in this fight. That's 3 fights where you could say that if the tide didn't turn for McCumbee in that for Plant in that fight, he could have lost that McCumbee fight. So that could have been 3 L's in a row. So that tells us Caleb Plant may be on the backside of where he was. Especially, remember where he was after the Uzcategui win? Then he knocked out Mike Lee, Fagan Boots, Caleb Truax. He unanimously decision and smacked him up. And then he got that Canelo fight. Like, that might have been the peak. He's only 32 years of age, mind you. So I'm not saying retirement should be close or anything like that. But I'm just saying a guy like Caleb Plant, I don't think he's here to be boxing when he's 38, 39, 35. I think he was here to be a champion. And if he realizes that that window to stay champion and be champion isn't there, I don't see him as one of those guys sticking around just to box. He's got a daughter. He's got a beautiful family. I expect him to move on. So his next fight is going to be very telling. Caleb Plant's next fight is going to be very, very, very telling of where he's going to be moving in his career. Now for Jose Armando Resendiz. El Toro. Biggest win of his career. Right up there with Michael Rosales, Jarrett Hurd. That's his big 3. Michael Rosales, Jarrett Hurd, Caleb Plant. Those are the biggest 3 wins of Jose Armando Resendiz's career. He's 16-2 now. Okay? And though it'll go down as an SD, in our hearts, it'll go down as a UD. He won the WBA interim super middleweight title with this fight. And as you know, interim titles set you up for big fights. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Now, he lost to Elijah Garcia. Yeah. The same Elijah Garcia that lost by split decision to Keyshawn Davis recently. Keyshawn Davis fought on this card. But he didn't win. So more things that didn't go our way. Well, let's talk about the other fight that co-main this card. Jermall Charlo and Thomas LaManna happened. And Jermall Charlo made him quit. Well, not made him quit. Made the doctor make him quit. Made the corner make him quit. But made him quit. Jermall Charlo defeats Thomas LaManna via 6th round TKO. He was too big. He was too fast. He had the heart of a lion. I mean, I don't think anyone thought Jermall Charlo was going to come anywhere close to losing this fight. But we did have a lot of questions about where his head was at, where his fitness was at, where his future was headed. And after watching this fight, I could see that it's still bright. And that's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to see. I wanted to see that he still had that killer ability. I wanted to see that he still had pop in his hands. I wanted to see that he still had in and out ability and that he was still fast for his size. Because as you remember, he's huge. Jermall Charlo is pretty damn big for the goddamn weight class. Okay? He's huge. And one more giant piece of information. He's still undefeated. He's 34-0. Yeah, he's the undefeated Charlo. So he's had a lot of fights that, look like softballs in retrospect. A little Trout action, a little Hogan action. I mean, the Montiel fight was good. Jose Benavidez Jr. LaManna will probably look like that in the future. But Jermall Charlo gets a nice win and does what he's supposed to do. Show that there's levels to this shit. Jermall Charlo, Lions only, kept it moving. The win train, the gravy train keeps going. And we need to get him a big fight next. I'm tired of this. Get him a big fight. Get Jermall Charlo a big fight. Now. Before shit happens again. We got him drinking and fucking shit up in the backstage of stadiums. Get him a big fight now. Keep him busy. That's what we want to see. We want to see the Charlos fighting. We don't want to see them in the club. We don't want to see them backstage talking shit. We want to see them fighting because that's what we get. Good fights when they get in the ring. So shout out to Jermall Charlo. Shout out to Jermall Charlo. Shout out to Lions Only Camp. Shout out to Jose Armando Resendiz and shout out to Caleb Plant. Hopefully he can get a good fight. Maybe a grudge fight against Jermall Charlo is what he needs. Maybe they still give him the fight anyways. But at least we had a fun boxing event. Other fights on this card that happened. On the main, Yoenli Hernandez defeats Keyshawn Davis. Unanimous decision, 189 across the board. This was shellacking. One-sided traffic. At super middleweight, Isaac Lucero defeats Omar Valenzuela via second-round TKO. Go ahead and watch that. If you want to watch a fun boxing knockout, go ahead and watch that. Go back and watch that one. Super welterweight, Isaac Lucero, Omar Valenzuela. Poor bastard. On the prelims, lightweight, our boy Kermel Moten defeats Rene Villamonte Mastrapa via unanimous decision. Sorry if you lost money on the Moten KO. Didn't happen for us this time. It is what it is. 80-72, 80-72, 80-72. At super bantamweight, Carl Martin defeats Francisco Pedraza Portillo via unanimous decision, 79-72, 78-73, 78-73. At super lightweight, Justin Cardona defeats Elijah Williams via split decision, 79-72, 77-74, 75-76. At super middleweight, John Easter defeats Andreas Martinez via unanimous decision, 59-53, 59-53, 59-53. And at super welterweight, Christian Kandalowski defeats Samuel Figueroa via majority decision, 78-74, 77-75, 76-76. That completes the PBC on Prime card. That was Plant versus Jose Armando Resendiz, co-headlined by Jermall Charlo versus Thomas LaManna. That's it for boxing. Dana Blanco, what up, brother? He says, just popping in to say Maycee had a panic attack. Yeah, he had a lot more than that. Panic attack, seizure, weight mix, ridicule, loss of Dana White's respect. A lot of things happened there. A lot of things happened there. Monumentally awful night for Maycee Barber. One she'll never forget. Guarantee that. Other news in boxing. Other boxing notables. Let's just go through the schedule real quick of what's coming up, and then we'll get to our favorite segments of the week. June 8th, Queensland, Australia, on the Zone. We got a title fight. Jai Opetaia versus Claudio Squeo. 12 rounds for Opetaia's IBF cruiserweight title. June 8th, Tokyo on ESPN Plus. Junto Nakatani versus Ryosuke Nishida. 12 rounds for Nakatani's WBC bantamweight title and Nishida's IBF bantamweight title. Don't worry, I have predictions on both those fights for you at the end of this stream. Stick around. June 28th in Anaheim, California, on the Zone pay-per-view. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., 10 rounds at cruiserweight. June 11th on Netflix in New York. New York, baby. Title fight, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. 10 rounds for Taylor's undisputed women's junior welterweight championship. July 11th, the very next day in New York. Title fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. 12 rounds for Stevenson's WBC lightweight title. July 19th in Las Vegas, a title fight between Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. 12 rounds for Barrios' WBC welterweight title. July 19th in London on the Zone pay-per-view, there is a title fight between our heavyweight champ, Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois. 12 rounds for Usyk's WBC, WBO, WBA, and Dubois' IBF heavyweight title. We're about to unify this bitch. Let's go. And September 13th, to be announced where and when, we have a title fight between Canelo Alvarez, my man Cinnamon, and Terrence Bud Crawford. 12 rounds for Alvarez's undisputed super middleweight championship that he just won. I can't wait. And that's it for boxing. You know what the fuck time it is. It's now time for our favorite segment of the week, bitch. That's right. It's time for this week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. Cash it, motherfucker. Cash it. Go check the channel. Green checks all over the motherfucking place. Go check your account. There's money in it. You're one with us, baby. You're one with us. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's check out what we got on tap. We started off the night with two props. We had a Ryosuke De Los Santos submission, or we had an Alice Ardelian decision. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Alice. A little 5-piece on both. We profited on that plus 240, baby. We profited on that plus 240. More than doubled the money. Gotta love it. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you both. Small units, because as you know, it's a fight night. What are we doing breaking the bank? Just throw a little money at it. It's a fight night. It's a random Saturday. Nothing's going on. What are you doing throwing 50s and 25s and 100s on fucking singles? Stop it, you sick fuck. You got a problem. Anyways, moving down the card, we started taking some L's here and there. It is what it is with any fight night card. You fall into your lulls. We had Balaji Aki by TKO. Didn't work out for us. It is what it is. We should have known with the dog shit odds. We should have took the decision at plus 200. Happens. It happens. And then we went with the Hollabaugh sub. He was already a dog. We were reaching for the stars with that one. It is what it is. We didn't make money there. And then we tried to stay away from the flyweights because, it could go either way. I was going to lose money because I had Fijo decision. I had Nascimento sub. Neither of those things happened. So glad we stayed away on that one. And then we had Zach Reese. And I'm sorry to Luke, but he had fight to not go the distance. And I was like, bro, you got Zach Reese and Dusko to dust off, to dust, getting dusted in there. Okay? Fake Dustin was in there. All right? And I was like, you think Fake Dustin's going to finish Reese? And you think Reese is going to finish Fake Dustin? I was like, nah. I just had to put a little money on decision. And I didn't think Dusko was going to get the win. So I was like, Reese could pull out this decky dubber. He could pull it out. And guess what? He pulled out the decky dubber win. Zachy Reese plus 900, plus 950 on FanDuel. I only put $2 on it because I barely believed in it myself. But he brought back 25 on both apps. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Our boy Zach Reese plus 900. Gotta fucking love it. It was a nice little surprise. I was like, oh shit. Look at that. I wish I threw 5. I wish I threw 5 on it. The loonies looking down at me like, what the fuck, bro? Got to throw 5 on it. So I won't make that mistake again. No more 250s. If I'm doing something, the smallest unit we got to do is a 5-piece. It is what it is. That's that's the smallest amount you could deposit into your fucking account. That should be the smallest amount that we're betting on each single. So that's what we'll be doing from now on. 5s on every single. That's the least you'll see. I'm going to start sticking to that. But shout out to Zach Reese with a decision win at plus 900. And then we're on the main card now. I see Caitlin Vieira. I'm like, oh, if that just hit, we got Caitlin. Caitlin's going to bring some money home. Ain't no doubt about it. She's the next fight. Let's put her for decision. We got parlays with her as well. Fuck it. Let's go. And that's what happened, baby. We cash it. Little 10 piece at a plus 215, bringing back a little over 30 on both apps. Thank you, Caitlin Vieira. Thank you for another nice little win on the main card. The main card was looking fantastic at this point. Fan-freaking-tastic. I'm like, oh, life is good. I got my parlays hitting. I had a parlay, which was it was fight to end by TKO in the Jacoby fight. Billy Ray Goff to win by TKO and Vieira to win by decision. As we know, it didn't happen with the Billy Ray Goff fight, but you know, we were feeling good on that main card. We were feeling good. So good, in fact, that we did this little hedge for the main event. Little 10 piece was supposed to be plus 300 on both apps. Gamrot points at plus 105. Blanchfield points at plus 105. Maxing out to a plus 320. It is what it is. It ended up being worse on DraftKings, minus 109, minus 105. But we cashed that as well. And I gave you guys a couple bets. First, let's go over what we did with CP units that we had on Saturday. It should have been on Friday at 2. It was on Saturday at 2. Sorry about that, but life comes at you fast. And this was the parlay. Erin Blanchfield to win by sub. Caitlin Vieira to win by decision. Plus 13-17. And if you put it in, motherfucker, you should have cashed. You should have cashed that shit. You should have cashed for a plus 200 for whatever else you put in there. Okay? Now, you know me, every single CP units, I put in $10. Every single one. And as you know, we're way the fuck up. It's brought back $600. It's brought back $300. It's brought back $50. And this time, it brought back almost $30, baby. That's right. Ends up being a plus 200 single, but it still counts, baby. Caitlin Vieira points cashes for you. You're welcome. You're motherfucking welcome. CP units cashes again. Don't you ever talk shit about my CP unit simulations. I got the most accurate simulations on the internet. I got the most accurate simulations in the MMA universe. You bring your ass back Friday, 2 p.m., so you can see another one cash and watch the miracle for yourself. Okay? But CP units cashes yet again. Don't you ever doubt my CP unit simulations. Come on down and sit in the cuck chair with us, because we just let the UFC 5 video game bet and win money for us. We ain't even got to fucking think about it, baby. Sim that shit up. Let's go. I also gave you guys 2 other parlays. The high risk didn't end up cashing. Gamrot cashes, but Goff, Halaba sold us. Vieira cashes as well. If you took any of those as singles, you should have made money, because Goff was a heavy favorite. Halaba was a heavy dog. So you probably shouldn't have put too much money on either of those. So your money should have been made on Vieira or Gamrot. So if you took those as singles, good on you. You're welcome. But that didn't cash. I gave you guys this, though. Bellagioki, Zach Reese, Erin Blanchfield, Dustin Jacoby. Bellagioki gets a unanimous decision win. Zach Reese gets a unanimous decision win. Dustin Jacoby gets a TKO KO in round 1. And Erin Blanchfield doesn't get to fight that night. So your parlay should have cashed at a plus 180, plus 170, something, whatever. Because it fucking cashed. It fucking cashed, bitch. It fucking cashed. And here's how it cashed for us. As you know, we do a half unit. Well, a half full unit for us. I call my little 10 pieces like a single, like small unit. Big unit's 100 for us. So we did a half unit because it's a fight night week. We should be doing a full unit next week for Marab's card. So we're definitely choosing wisely. Patchy Mix, Kayla Harrison, definitely going to be in that parlay. Don't you worry. But yeah, 50 piece, both apps. Should have been a plus 292. Ends up coming back at like a plus 180, 170 something. It is what it is. We cashed 3 of our 4 legs, 50 to bring back 136 on both apps. Yeah. Yeah. It was another fantastic week, baby, of, bitch, you guessed it, this week's wins. And that's why when we get to do with this week's wins, it's always my favorite segment of the week. Thanks for playing. See you next week. All right. Now we just got picks for the week, guys. I'm going to get you the fuck up out of here in the next 10 minutes. We got picks for the week. UFC 316. You already know what's going in my parlay. I told you already. Kayla's in the parlay. Patchy's in the parlay. Marab, the Marab fight will be going in the parlay. Too many unanswered questions. Too many new factors in this fight for me that I'm just going to be throwing Marab moneyline in there. Marab moneyline might be in the high risk, but I don't think it's going in the regular parlay, if I'm being quite honest with you. Kayla Harrison, abso-fucking-lutely. That's going in there. Bro, Juliana Pena had a tough time with Raquel Pennington. I don't even think she won that fight. So Kayla Harrison, yeah. I don't even care if she's minus 1,400. She's going in the parlay. Patchy Mix, I hope we get good odds on him. Absolutely going in the parlay. Wang Kong. She's going up against Ariane Lipski, Ariane De Silva. She might be going in the regular parlay, probably into the high risk because of what she did to us on a previous card, getting submitted. So, there's a couple other people I'm looking at that will probably end up going to my high risk. Vicente Luque, Sergey Spivak. Those are my 6 I'll give you guys for now. Marab, Kayla Harrison, Patchy Mix, Wang Kong, Vicente Luque, Sergey Spivak. Those are all 6 names that you should be looking at. 6 names, not all of them, but at least 3 of these 6 names should be in all of your parlays. If I'm being honest with you. 2 of these are locks. 3 of these, honestly, are locks. 5 of these should win. And there's one that we really don't know, but they should win too. And he's sitting on my shirt. So, yeah. Plenty of options. The odds are going to be pretty dog shit on this card. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's going to be pretty dog shit odds. If we could be matter of fact about it. Because, I mean, just looking at the card right now, I haven't even really deep dived. I'm seeing minus 300s. I'm seeing minus 400s. It's a tough go. It's a real tough go. Yeah, bro. I mean, Wang Kong's minus 390. Spivak's minus 125. That's a good one to make money on. Vicente Luque is a plus 196 dog. I like that. Patchy Mix is only minus 174. I fucking love that. Let's fucking steal the books. Where's my ski mask? You're lucky it's not right here, FanDuel and DraftKings. Kayla Harrison's minus 620. Absolutely going in the parlay. Let's look at the parlay right now if I made it. Patchy, Kayla. Who's my third again? Is it Luque? Let's go Marab. Patchy, Kayla, Marab is plus 130. Patchy, Kayla, Marab is plus 130. Patchy, Kayla, Pfeiffer, plus 130 about. Patchy, Kayla, I just need a third name at minus 300, minus 350, and it's a plus money parlay. We're probably going to do something simple like that. Just 3 names, $100, plus at 150, plus 170, something like that. Hopefully we can get. But Patchy Mix, Kayla, definitely in the parlay. Definitely. Picks on Jaya Opetaia and Claudio Squeo. We got 2 boxing cards next week. Don't forget to put money on it. Jai Opetaia TKO. It's going to be expensive. Maybe a parlay piece. Jai Opetaia TKO rounds 1 through 6. First 6 rounds is where he loves to get his KOs. Don't forget to get that. Also, I've noticed throughout his record, he loves to get his KOs in the even rounds. I see a lot of 2s, 4s, 6s, 8s. So if there's an even round bet that you could take on Jai Opetaia, I would probably take that. Sorry. I would probably take that. Jai Opetaia is a lock next week. Jai Opetaia TKOs. Jai Opetaia TKOs in the first 6 rounds. Yeah, I like all Jai Opetaia bets. So those are the picks for Jai Opetaia. And the last card that I'll talk about is picks on Junto Nakatani versus Ryosuke Nishida. Tokyo, Japan card. Now, this is really valuable information I'm about to give you. So if you're a boxing guy, you want to bet boxing, take this and run to the books right now. Junto Nakatani TKO. Junto Nakatani TKO 1 through 6. And if you really want to hedge that he won't get a finish because the guy he's going up against is a decision master, Junto Nakatani unanimous decision. Those are the only 3 bets that are worth it. Those are the only 3 bets you should be looking at. Junto Nakatani is a lock. I'll take a money line. Hopefully they got, let me see if they got odds on him. Probably not. Nope. I don't see anything yet. I don't see a dumb thing yet, yeah. I don't see it. And let me check. Nope, I'm not seeing. I'm seeing the 7th. I see Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis. Oh, yeah, by the way, Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason also fighting. You already know. Keyshawn Davis, TKO. Abdullah Mason, TKO. You guys already know. But yeah, Junto Nakatani minus 650 right now. Jai Opetaia minus 6,000. So that tells you where he's at. Tells you exactly where he's at. So don't forget Davis versus De Los Santos is happening. I forgot to make a lower for that. But yeah. That does it for me, y'all. That does it for me. I'm gonna get up out of here. That's it. That's it. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for coming through, showing some love. Shout out to Dana Blanco. Shout out to Lazy Bear. Shout out to John Ray. Shout out to Main Card Minute. Shout out to everybody that showed up, showed some love, tuned in. Next time I'll see you guys is Friday. Friday, we will be doing simulation for UFC 316. We should have a pretty fat card. We should have at least 1, 2, 3. Hopefully they add Patchy Mix to the game by the weekend. 4. We should have 4 fights, possibly 5 if they add Patchy Mix. So we should have like a 2-3 hour card on Friday. So come on by 2 o'clock Friday. We're going to have the UFC 316 full card simulation, which means it's going to be a 4-leg parlay. We're going to have to get crafty with it. But as you know, with the CP units, we can't choose anything but fighter and outcome. Because when we start doing like overs and shit goes wrong. So we just need to do whatever the game gives us. If it's Marab decision, if it's Kayla decision, whatever it is, that's how we rolling. That's how we rolling. But thanks to everybody for showing up. Thanks for Tanner showing up. What up, Tanner? Cheers, boys. I caught the last 20 seconds. All good. Just rewind a little bit. Just riding the high of last night's card, Riding into today's games. We got baseball coming up. We got WNBA coming up. Basketball's off for the next week, so we're stuck with the WNBA. If you guys need WNBA bets, I'll probably be putting them out on the green parlays. Just look up the green parlays on social. You'll find it on Instagram. But it is what it is. Tanner says, I actually did hit a plus 600 parlay. Shout out to the plus 7.5 points bets. See y'all? Nice. Shout out to Tanner. Everybody cashes. Everybody cashes. You already know who we're rolling with this week. You already know who we're rolling with. Shout out to Marab. Shout out to Ray Longo. Shout out to Aljamain Sterling. Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Erin Blanchfield. Shout out to Maycee Barber and her team. Shout out to Ramiz Brahimaj for being my fighter spotlight of the week. Shout out to everybody that showed up to the chat. I will see you guys next week. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. I'm going to eat something, enjoy the rest of my Sunday, and text my girlfriend because she's elsewhere. All right. Deuces.